Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Access. Just to recap this database that we're building, if I go to database tools at the top there and relationships, you can see what we've got here. We've got a bookings table, we've got customers, and we've got courses. I'll just close that. What we last did was we looked at a form which would give us a list of customers and the bookings that they had. And now on that form, we had invoice numbers. What I want to do now is have an invoice number up the top here that's going to tell me what the next invoice number should be, because I can't just go on here and look at the invoice numbers and say 101, it must be 102, because if I go into the table, you can see that there's already numbers there, and 102 is not even in that list, or is there at the top. So I can see the list of invoice numbers, but I haven't got what the next one is. I can see it's 107 there, but I don't want to keep coming back into here to see that. So what I'm going to do is create a query and then put the result of that query in here and do a form on it and just have it there. Now you can do a function dlookup, but we haven't got to that stage yet, but we can change this later on. But for now, if this is the level you're at, where we're at here, you can do this. So if we click on create query, query design, and straight away I'm going into the expression builder because I want to use a function which is the max function. So get the tables opened up. There's a booking table. So if I just double click on the invoice number, it gives me the reference there. Look at the top, and you see how that syntax sits. You've got to have it like that in square brackets, but I want to put in front of that equals max, so it's the maximum with a normal open bracket, and then close the bracket at the end, and then plus 1. So that'll just be 1. So 106 is the highest number at the minute, so that should come back with 107. Click OK. Before I run this query, I'm going to need to add the customer table, otherwise it won't work. I need to save that. So if I run this, it should now be 107, which it is. So now what I need to do is just create a form so I can put that in here. So if I go into design, what you can do is a lookup to that, but if you create a form, I can embed a form. So if I just click on that, create a form. So I just want a default form. I can tidy this up later. So that's all that's going to be. If I go into design on this, I can make this a lot smaller than that. I'll take off the automatic layout features, so I can then bring this right in, because I don't really need anything other than the actual number. I don't even need that title across the top there at all. And then I can bring this right across, like so. And then I'll just close that and save the form. Yes, FRM in front of that, QRY, then get the cursor there, FRM, form that's looking at that. OK. Now I want to put that up here. So up there. So now I need to embed the form here. So I just click into there and go to form design, and you want to select subform subreport. You draw a little rectangle. You can resize this later on, and then follow the wizard. So there's the query. So that's the one I want there, and then I can just go finish, and let's see if that's picked that up. It's got 107, which is great. Now what I need to do is get rid of some of these labels. So I'll go back into design on this and just tidy this form up a little bit. So I don't need that label at the top, and I can make this a lot smaller than what it is. Let's move it over there a little bit. Bring it across like so. just save that for a minute and then just have a look at that, see what that looks like. You can actually get rid of the titles and the bars and everything else, but I just want to see if this works first. So if I get a new booking, so course ID, let's say it's going to be access and it's going to be today, and you've got 4 people at £200 each, not 2,000, 200, and then the invoice number would be, according to that, 107. So get rid of the 0, 107, pressing off there. Now that hasn't naturally updated, but if I close this down and just save it and then go back into it, so this hasn't updated either, so I'll close that one down. So if I open the table, not that one, bookings, invoice number 107 is there. I did do a purchase order, so I'll just do AZA as a purchase order, close that down, and then I don't need that open. Go back to the form, and that now says 108. So I could have just refreshed the form. So that is working okay actually. So that's fine. So I've got, so it's showing me the next number. I could put that up there actually as a title, next number to be used. But if I go forward on these customers, it's still going to say 108 because it's looking at that table. So that's okay. So that's all I want to talk about in this little video, how you can create a form that will look at the next invoice number and always be available on every form for every customer. So hopefully this little video is of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.